Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to my review of this knife. This is the Jeo-Tec Model 39. Comes with that sheath, which we will examine in detail. This is the We All Juggle Knives channel. This knife is manufactured in Spain. The official blade length is 5.7 inches, which includes that finger choil. It's a true full tang, extended tang with lanyard hole. Yes, that's me waving to you. What's up? Welcome, one and all. Welcome, subscribers. And if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe if you like knife reviews. All right, we're going to put this knife through its paces. I've already tested it out, and I've got a lot of usage footage coming up. But first, let's see what we're working with here. All right, the steel on this is MV58, also called MOVA. That is a steel that you commonly see in many Spanish knives, and a lot of people compare it to 440C with an excellent heat treat. So this knife has a saber grind, as you can see. It's got a bevel, a partial flat grind, and then the bevel that forms the edge. That is extremely strong construction. Here is the handle. I wear a large size glove, and I do have extra room on that handle. So if you have XL hands, you're good. You're in business. All right, let's do stuff with this blade. So as I was saying, this has very strong construction. It's a little bit overbuilt. Kind of reminds you of what you would see in a survival knife. And I had no reservations about pounding it through some birch there. And yes, I do know that hatchets exist. But hey, if you're going to spend your hard-earned money, people want to know if their knife can take a beating. This definitely can. You know, no problem pounding it through knots, whatnot, or if you had like a tough branch that you wanted to chop through. So how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. On that day that I tested this out, we had some blustery wind, all sorts of birds. At one point, there's going to be geese migrating. Don't know if you can, how much you can hear. I left a little sound on because I want you to feel like you're there with me. All right, so Geotech, I'm quite familiar with the brand, and actually this knife model has been out for many, many years, so I've encountered people that have actually owned this very model for several years. I've read their reviews, got a lot of positive feedback on this model. Basically, it's a tank. All right, so you see in a short period of time, we made some kindling. It was pretty good at that. Now, you know, the grind on this, especially that first bevel there, it's thick, right? So it does have pluses and minuses. One of the benefits of that big chunky bevel is just pure strength, right? Now here we are carving a tent stake. It'll also take care of any vampires that might try to harass you. But one thing I did notice, that first bevel there, it does create friction. I mean, that's unavoidable. So for example, if this was a full flat grind, it would have been a little better at this particular task, right? But every feature on a knife is going to have pluses and minuses. Like I said, this thing is built to withstand some serious use and abuse. This knife, if you were to chop it through a branch of moderate diameter, the weight of this knife would give you a lot of power. However, the thickness and the grind might limit the penetration slightly. But then again, if you tried to chop with a real thin knife, the knife would be more likely to break. Let's compare it to, let's say, a thin Latin machete. That's going to embed itself really deep into what you're chopping, maybe even get stuck, right? So we're talking about pluses and minuses. Overall, this thing is built like a tank, and there's definitely a place for that. You ever have a knife break on you? Yeah, when people have a knife break on them, all of a sudden they don't care about weight and they want a tank. Here it is, finishing the tip on this. This came with a very sharp edge. To be able to use it like as if it was a whittling knife, considering how thick the spine on this is, you can see the thickness there. The fact that you can use it like a whittler out of the box basically shows that they did a very good job on that edge, for sure. All right, so Spanish knives, you know, Cudaman, Aitor, CDS, now Jeo-Tec. I'm pretty familiar with Spanish brands, and actually, A lot of people don't know I am part Spanish, if you go back far enough. I mean, I am Filipino, but a lot of Filipinos are actually part Spanish. I've been told either my grandmother, great-great-grandmother was Spanish. All right, so you see, is that pointed enough? I don't think that's pointed at. No, it's definitely pointed enough. So there's your vampire stake. This knife is also pretty pointed too. Kind of the piercing ability it would have reminds me of maybe a soldier's type knife, as far as, or maybe some people have mentioned you could lash it and make a spear, right? So the pointedness, I guess, has multiple applications. Here we're just going to make a notch, that familiar 2 grooves, and then connect them to make a notch. We've seen this before, but I wanted to include a little bit of bushcraft for all the bushcrafters. What's up? This is a pretty thick and heavy knife compared to most you would use for bushcraft, but again, really just depends on what you prefer. All right, and again, look at the sharpness, right? That is kiln-dried firewood. And there is your notch. Okay, initial sharpness. Before I did anything, right out of the box, yeah, that is some impressive initial sharpness. I mean, take a look how thick that is. And then the fact that it went through the paper the way you would expect, like a really thin utility knife or shaving razor. So great job on the edge by Jeo-Tec. All right, here's the sheath. It's got a belt loop there. Nice leather sheath. You see the tie down there. The sheath has a single retaining strap with a button closure. All right, be careful not to slice that as you pull it out. It's got a secondary pocket, comes with a sharpening stone, and also comes with this fire steel and striker, which fits in that loop there. All right, and we will definitely test that out right now. All right, those are my little tinder puffs that are just made from the ends of Q-tips. All right, and I'm just going to use those with the whittling shavings, and there's like a little strip of birch there. All right, because it was very, very windy and very cold that day. But the little tinders actually light really well. So there you go. So that striker, it has like little claws at the end of that green striker that really dig into the fire steel, and it was good at generating sparks. All right, and I did try the spine of the knife as well. It did make sparks also, but not as effectively as the striker, because like I said, the striker has claws on the end essentially. All right, final thoughts on the Jeo-Tec Model 39. Well, it's got a lot of interesting features. Now, the smooth handle scales, that's more like you would see on a hunting knife, and the reason they're so smooth is to be comfortable during prolonged use, right? But then you have the very pointed tip, which has weapon potential. There it is next to a smaller and lighter Jeo-Tec knife, which I have previously reviewed, that is the Model 3. As you can see, the 39 is the big brother, right? And then you have the thickness, the overbuilt quality of this knife, which is reminiscent of a survival knife. And you even got that extended tang, which can be used to hammer things as well as to break a window or even as an impact device, right? So many, many features with many different positives and applications. It's up to you whether that particular mix of features suits your needs. All right, and as promised, I don't know if you can hear the geese up there, all right, but I hope you enjoyed this review. Now, if this doesn't suit your needs, I'm going to include a list of the entire line of Jeo-Tecs that you can browse at your leisure in the text description box. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.